que é RMBit Office, Private Living, 55021, seat number 22. We'll make our movement today. Considering that yesterday on Saturday, I think that was April 2, 2022, we kind of looks like had a great advance in things that you are doing. We will take a look very fast at the blog risk report 2022 trace april.blogspot.com. We will check that some posts I will suspend because it's necessary, but we will have the idea here. The last movement, we had the international application of the local law, considering that sometimes the local department have problems inside. And the main problem is the continuity of things complained, even in the international area. Then we'll check that the international application of the local law will kind of allow the perception as groups or arrays, which is samplings inside the system. And the taxonomy of values, considering those groups, indeed permit ourselves have more accuracy by a diagram named Venn diagram, which will have in an explicit way the groups and levels by qualitative measurement of association. And from this, we'll observe that we have our security forum. And indeed, the corruption is something that is inside our law. Law 8112, Article 116, clause, I think that is item 3. It's about the corruption on public department, and you must fire, destitute, dismiss those groups. But this didn't happen by reasons that you had indeed. The Security Forum has two nations or two sides, and I will have this division here. This side alpha as a national state, and this side beta as a national state. We had a research as a self-defense thing in a very specific area, and then we will have all elements indeed we're having this in the other area, and observe how things goes at the same source. Simple to get this. My national state beta has the division as A, corporate or public, and B, corporate, and each one indeed has a center as the decision, an investment decision, and the A that is public, B, corporate, as decision is kind of the driver at this area. First thing. Then I will check that the values observed in each one of those segments are related with the quality's behavior, and we have in general two possibilities as something legal or something not legal. And of course, that when I check that something is legal by the appearance, it doesn't mean that we'll have the substance as legal, which implies the legitimacy to sometimes occupy the chair or have the decision. If you have no autonomy, you have no attributes as attitude to have a decision. Then we'll check that indeed we now must confirm these by values in the same way. And we have our general chart as database signal and KRM as binary taxonomy. Then we are considering that this is ruled by the environment alpha, and we can consider the decision about investment on public department using public treasury. The general perception is the decision is okay because it's go inside the public department. But can we have the transparency required by players at the international scenario, let's say the financial economy and communication? No. You are here. Positive one, internal value, negative one. Indeed, you have no legitimacy and no right to continue, but you do the continuity by an abuse. And this abuse won't be presented at the statement. You will need a parallel level as communication, namely deep web, and go inside the department, having the connection with other criminal areas that has the same need as records modifier on public department. Indeed, the deep web is the interconnection of all public crimes or public corruption with extended field as criminal behavior. Simple to get, get the deep web, you get the entire public corruption scam in Brazil, which is inside the transnational organized crime, and you have a full house. Then we will offer this model in the same way to America. America do not have the law 8112, Article 116, Item 3, saying that the corruption is something that allows the destitution or dismissal of a public chair, but has the preamble, and I think that it's on Article 3, saying that the judges will receive the payment by the good behavior. And of course that the corruption isn't a good behavior. And if the judge kind of will have this at that legal system, by equity you can fire all public chairs by corruption. In the same way you have this on companies by a compliance department or forcing or something like this. In America, you have the public area and the corporative area. In the past, the public decision, the investment decision as corporate investment was kind of something that happens all the time, had more frequency. But since the pandemic, we have the public investment as a stimulus, which is a decision by specific chairs. Here, sometimes you have levels, and kind of an investor having the domain of a CEO, which has the domain of the director that you request a contract or something, and this go as a willing dealing scam. with chairs at the Big Four audit, for instance, one of them having the stamp saying that everything is okay, or having a lenient behavior, which is the blind association. This created a big problem in America with one specific Big Four company as audit, which guess what has problems in Brazil. And when companies big tech catching the same way has problems in Brazil. Amazing. Then we will check that this board here, we will only change the color. And guess what? We will have now our model as America, bubble of problems, the Brazil, bubble of problems. But the Brazil indeed never had the intention to do something according with the law by circumstances observed since 1988 and complain. International complaints on OECD, the IMF, the ONODC, and even recently the Interpol. Then we will check, but we will consider that we can have this like this. This area here is a problem, for instance, for two areas. Like the violation of two constitutions, you are a problem for two areas. Or having the corruption and the interconnection on scams, Brazil and USA, that indeed will form a conjuncture as alpha, comma, and beta, comma, which kind of are very likely the same, and presenting itself as gamma, but now clustered by this simple model here. The idea of database sigma is kind of be simple to work in a critical situation like this. And no, if the public chairs goes by designation and the top chair in general is the president or the chief of state or something like this, we had election crimes. Right? Right. Which indeed is what? The registry of all voters. And we have a scam interconnection thing named Deep Web. See? They know the facts, they know the circumstance, and they are kind of the angle stone of all problems. By simple analysis, using a board recommended to have constriction against public departments in Brazil and American departments and companies and offices in Brazil by the international application of the local law, considering the trial as industrial crime. And the first step is protecting data on public departments, as Brazilian public departments or American public departments extended by peers linked with, which can be a corporate peer Brazil or a corporate peer American, considering failures on center of investment, which indeed points likely the same by failures as gamma. Gamma indeed is present in the corrupted center of investment on America and Brazil, and by failure they are kind of identically in fails. And the continuity of fails observed in Brazil will be under the same treatment if get observed on America. And the sampling movement is the American department and companies in Brazil. Have a nice night.